She is the president and principal of NR HR Talent Consulting in Chicago, USA. This is a professional HR consulting organization. Dr. Razi has over 30 years of experience leading HR functions in many US national and global companies such as HCSC, JLL, Comdisco, and CNA Insurance, wherein she has reported directly to the CEO of these companies. Dr. Nazneen has specific expertise in leadership development, coaching, HR management, organizational development, as well as cultural transformation. She has a PhD in organizational development and an MBA from Benedictine University in LaSalle, Illinois, where she also served as adjunct faculty for the MBA programs. She also has an MA in English literature from Osmania University in Hyderabad. She is currently a senior faculty member of the Josh Bersin Academy. So Dr. Nazneen Razi has done, tremendous number of things. She serves actually on several US boards and advisory boards. She has served on the boards of Aon Consulting, Mentium, Gartner, Chicago Shakespeare Theater, as well as the board of the Hyderabad Foundation of Chicago. She is interested in arts and literature and enjoys reading and traveling with her family. So with that, Dr. Razi, again, welcome. And, I look forward to your session and, to participate in it.
Thank you, Dr. Ansari. Let me, give me 1 second. I'm going to go into presentation mode here. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, Dr. Ansari, good evening, everyone. I am really pleased. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So I'm really pleased to present to you this evening. It's a very important topic to me, particularly at this time in your career. The topic is relevant. Sorry. And it's about developing a learning mindset. This will be an interactive session. You just heard, we were talking about breakout sessions. We're going to break out into groups. I'm going to present a few concepts and examples, and then we'll go into some smaller sessions and we'll talk about what does learning mindset mean? So first of all, learning by far is the most important skill that you can develop. If you're good at learning, you can use that to get good at whatever you like. There are decades of research that show that the best way to get good at learning is believing that you can do it. That is called the learning mindset. So I'm going to start with this quote. Can everyone see just my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to start with this Peter Drucker quote, which I think is sort of inspiring. It says, no one can predict the future. We all know that, but you can create the future. You can create your future by your actions, your efforts, your achievements. And I'm a huge believer that you can shape and influence your future through learning. So I'm going to talk about two case studies, two stories. The first one is about Carol Dweck and her research. Carol Dweck is a professor at Stanford, and over 30 years ago, she and her colleagues became interested in students' attitudes about failure. They noticed that some students would rebound. They did really well even after they failed. They came back up. And they noticed that some students were devastated by even the smallest setbacks caused them to feel really upset. So after studying the behavior of thousands of children, Dr. Dweck coined the terms fixed mindset and growth mindset. And she did this to describe the underlying belief that people have about learning and intelligence. People believe that you are born in a particular way and nothing can change it. That's called the fixed mindset. And students who believe that they can get smarter, they understand that they can get smarter. Those are the students who make efforts, and that effort makes them stronger. And there's millions of dollars of research that have gone into this, and how the brain works. And recent advances in neuroscience, this is how the brain works. With practice, it shows that the brain is really, really malleable, meaning it's really elastic. And with practice, these neural networks grow new connections and they strengthen the existing connections. These are neuroscientific discoveries that have shown that you can increase these neurons by taking certain actions, by hard work, by even things like exercise, even things like good nutrition, asking questions, practicing. All of these things begin to grow additional neurons. So what Carol Dweck did, she coined this term, which has really changed the world of education. And she calls it the fixed mindset and growth mindset. So the fixed mindset is those students who believe that their skills and talent and intelligence are fixed. Nothing can change it. You're born with these, and you were given these, and nothing can do to improve them. And that's typically people like that, they're very embarrassed when they don't understand something. So when you don't understand something, rather than ask, they get really nervous about it. Bottom line is, people don't think that they control their abilities. And then what we're talking about today is the growth mindset, which is the learning mindset. Students know that they can develop their skills, their talents through persistence, through effort, and they learn from feedback, from good strategies, and they know that they control it. So Carol Dweck's theory is that intelligence is endless. Her theory revolves around the belief that you can improve intelligence. And there's a lot of research that shows that by the work you do, you can increase your IQ. The second story I'm going to tell you is about Satya Nadella. I think we all know who he is. He's actually from the city of Hyderabad. He's CEO of Microsoft. And I actually have had the opportunity to hear him live. And he says, everyone can change and grow with application and experience. So Satya Nadella recommends 3 books. Actually, he recommends a few, but the top 3 books that he recommends, one of them is The Mindset by Professor Dweck. So he went out into Microsoft and he gave all of his leaders the book. And he has posters in Microsoft. And I've spoken to the head of HR at Microsoft, and she'll tell you the culture that they're trying to create at Microsoft is all about learning. And his comment was, without books, he himself says, without books, I cannot live. He calls himself a lifelong learner. So to maintain a learning mindset, he says, these are the things he says: never stop learning. To maintain a learning mindset, you cannot consider yourself an expert, because once you consider yourself an expert, you stop learning. Instead, he'll tell you, consider yourself a student, a novice, a learner. If you consider yourself a student all your life, everything you do, you will continue to grow infinitely. And so he also says, learn from the past, but keep looking forward. So if you keep your eyes focused on the rear view mirror, think about it, you're driving and you only look at the rear view mirror, you're going to crash. Instead, what he says is learn from the past, but keep focused on what's ahead. And the third thing he says is experiment. Be bold. Without experimentation and mistakes, there can be no learning. Now, I teach a course every Friday, and I have students from all the companies. They're all heads of HR or leaders in HR. And I will tell you, the students from Microsoft are always so engaged. They're hungry for knowledge. They're always learning. In fact, I attended a session yesterday. It was a Microsoft session. They just launched a product which is going to be one step above Microsoft Teams, and it's called Viva. And they launched it yesterday. They're constantly, and it was brilliant. It's a platform for employee experience. And so you can see that companies like Microsoft, they believe in completely believe in learning. So how do you build a learning mindset? So based on all the research that have come, there are 7 habits that you can adopt. And these are very simple, but I'll tell you they're game changing, and they can be even. First habit is the power of reading. Read on a daily basis. This is a time-tested way to sharpen your brain. Reading gives your brain a workout. It builds your communication skills. It builds your vocabulary. You get a lot of comfort and confidence with language. I grew up speaking Urdu. That was my major language. But the reason I'm comfortable with English is because of my reading habits. And so you develop good comfort with the language. It improves your memory. It improves your writing skills. It boosts your creativity. And there is research that shows that it even improves your analytical skills. So read about sports, what's happening in your field. The knowledge today is at your fingertips. I used to have to go to the library to read. Now it's easy. You can just pick up a book or go online and read online. Give you some examples. Bill Gates, who's the CEO of Microsoft, he reads 50 books per year. And he says that reading is still the main way that he learns new things and tests his understanding. And Mike Zuckerberg of Facebook, he reads at least 1 book every 2 weeks. The best one I've heard, and you can Google this, Elon Musk, who's the CEO of Tesla. He grew up reading 2 books a day, according to his brother. So the bottom line is most successful people are dedicated to constant learning through reading. So I encourage you to spend at least 20 to 30 minutes reading something, not your textbooks, but something other than your textbooks. So the second habit is challenge yourself constantly. Leave your comfort zone. Students who have a learning mindset, they're much more motivated to take on challenging work. They persist in the face of setbacks, and they constantly achieve at higher levels. This isn't easy, by the way. If you're not comfortable making presentations, for instance, I remember when I was your age, I had my first job, I was in my early 20s. I hated making presentations. I couldn't sleep. I had to practice before the mirror. But now I've done it so many times that the fear has gone. So I don't have the fear of public speaking. So the point I'm making is do something that's challenging, because it may be a subject that you're not good at. When you start stretching beyond your own limits, you will start learning. Remember I said, if you push outside your comfort zone, the neurons in your brain are making new connections. The third habit is to acknowledge and embrace imperfections. Learn from your mistakes. Life is never perfect. Life is always going to deal you with things where you will slip and fall. Now, if you have a fixed mindset, if you fail, you will not do that again. You'll say, oh my gosh, I'm not going to try it again. But on the contrary, you need to learn from your mistakes, get feedback, improve for the next time, take criticism constructively, get feedback from your peers, from your teachers, from your mentors, from your coaches, learn from your mistakes. I'll give you an example. I was in the master's program at Osmania University, and this was the first test that I had to take, the first exam. In those days, you took an annual exam at the end of the year. And after the end of the first year, it was the first, I think we had to take 7 or 8 exams. And I started the first one, and they asked 3 essay type questions, 5, I'm sorry. And I lost track of time. I only could answer 3.5 because I wrote too much. And that was a huge mistake. And I've never made that mistake again. And for the rest of the program, I continued. I got A+ in every single one of my courses. I managed my time well. And even today, when I'm taking a time test, I am very conscientious of the time, because I lost my top rank. And it taught me a huge lesson. But it didn't make me afraid. It just made sure that I was doing all the right things. Don't be afraid to ask questions. So let's go to the fourth habit, constantly seek knowledge. This is different from reading. This is about being inquisitive. An inquisitive person is intellectually curious. They're eager for knowledge. They like to inquire, do research, ask questions. In Islam, for instance, seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. The first word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, is Iqra, which translates to read or attain knowledge. And it extends beyond religious knowledge. It's about relevant knowledge. It's about learning skills. It's about contributing to the family, to the community. Become a subject matter expert. One of the CEOs that I work for, his name is Dennis Chikazian. He's a big guy. He's on the boards of University of Chicago, Northwestern. One of the things he always said to me, he said, Nazneen, you want to become an expert in a particular area. People want to go to you for that particular expertise. So think about deep knowledge in an area. I'll tell you, among the mentors, Sajjad. Sajjad is an expert at resume writing and mock interviews. We always go to him because we know he's an expert. We go to always for machine learning. He's developed deep expertise. You want to be known for something. You want to be known for as an SME in a particular topic, but don't just be an expert in that area. Explore other things as well. So the next one I would say, which is also very important, is embrace change. This allows you to learn new things. Accepting change makes us very resilient. Life becomes interesting. Change is on us. You guys are the Generation Y or Generation, I think you're even the iPad generation, Generation Z. And change is all about technology. I mean, if you look at the change that's taken place in technology, 90% of the world's data has been created in the last 2 years. The amount of new technical information is doubling every 2 years. And I just read that over 400 new websites are being created every minute. So I was told, and I don't know how true this is, that those starting a 4-year college today, half of what they study will be outdated by the time they reach the 3rd year. And I know, being in HR, I recruit for IT people. And I know that the in-demand jobs of today, like the cloud specialist, blockchain manager, the big data architect, none of these existed 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago. And you're being prepared for jobs that don't exist today. The digital revolution is just getting started. You're in the middle of it. So change is a big deal. GM announced that they will no longer make fuel cars after 15 years. Think about it. No gas stations. If everybody goes electric, that's huge. And by the way, COVID has given us a whole different world. Our world of work has changed. Our school life has changed. It's taught us to adapt and adopt. You need to make change your friend and become flexible. Don't get stuck in old ways. Be open-minded. Explore career options. The sixth habit is, again, I will really, really encourage you to think about this one, is go beyond the academics. I'll give you an example. So I taught math for 25 years. We had our own little center with my family, and we had 200 students at a time. And it was on Sundays. And I also teach at local university here. And so I'm exposed to a lot of students. And I will tell you, my best students are those students who have diverse interests. They participate in sports, they're active in their community, they volunteer, they take part in competitions, they attend conferences, they read extensively, they've got a very broad general knowledge. These are the ones who also get their assignments done on time. And they look at all of this not as a distraction, but an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to grow. This is the learning mindset. So these are the ones who excel. The ones who can get ahead are the ones who are multi-talented, and they're not stuck in one particular area. The final habit is becoming a lifelong learner. I heard Satya Nadella say that, I'm a lifelong learner. And I started my PhD in my 40s. I consider myself to be a lifelong learner. I'm constantly looking for things. As I said, I was listening to Viva yesterday on Microsoft. So it's never too late to follow your dreams. It's never too late to start a good habit. If you don't read, start now. Start playing an instrument, learn a new language. All of these things stimulate your brain and improve your IQ, your intelligence quotient. So I will really encourage you to adopt any of these 7 habits, if not all of them. These are the habits: read daily, challenge yourself constantly, don't get out of your comfort zone, learn from your mistakes, seek knowledge, make sure you embrace change, um, extend beyond academics, find something that you enjoy doing and do it. And it's never, ever late to start something, become lifelong learners. So here's what we're going to do next. I told you that I would only speak for a few minutes, and then we're going to go into these breakout sessions, because the most important thing is for you to learn from experience and sharing. So what we're going to do, before I go there, let me end with this quote. By the way, I've heard this quote from several leaders: live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. It's a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. When I worked at HCSC, it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, we actually built Blue University, and I ran HR and I was also responsible for facilities. So I built Blue University on campus in our building. And this was a quote, and you walk in and you see it, they were filled, our walls were filled with quotes about learning. So I encourage you to adopt these, and let's go into breakout and do some practice work. So let me tell you a little bit about the breakout session. In just a few minutes, I'm going to break you up into groups. We have 8 groups. Each group is going to brainstorm on how you can build a learning mindset by discussing these 3 habits. I picked 3 easy ones. So habit 1 is read on a daily basis. Habit 2 is think about extracurricular activities beyond your academics. And habit 3 is constantly seek knowledge. So each of your groups has a mentor assigned. I've also randomly assigned mentors to these groups. So mentors who are not one of the 8, I ask you to join in these discussions, and you will have about 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and spend about 5 minutes on each topic. I ask one of you, and this is your challenge, we are asking you to get out of your comfort zone. So one of you is going to volunteer, and you will take notes, and you will report back to the big group, and you'll spend about 1 or 2 minutes, just highlights. What did you learn from that exercise? What were one of the 2 key takeaways from that? So I'm going to break you up into groups, and I will stop sharing. And if you guys are ready, everybody's ready. Here we go.